Welcome. Welcome to this LEAD GA guidance program for exam preparation. We are on day one and we will be discussing on introduction to green buildings in the first day of this program. Here we will see the course content, what will be covered in the next few days. Chapter 1, here we discuss about the introduction to green buildings and the LEED credentials that we'll be discussing in this presentation. Now, chapter 2, here we discuss on introduction to LEED rating systems. Chapter 3 talks about location and transportation. Chapter 4, we will be seeing on sustainable sites. Chapter 5 is we discuss about water efficiency. And chapter 6, we discuss about energy and atmosphere. Chapter 7, we discuss about materials and resources. Chapter 8, indoor environmental quality. Whereas chapter 9, we discuss about integrative process. Chapter 10 discuss about the bonus categories. Chapter 11 discuss about more about USGBC and the lead. And chapter 12 discuss about value of sustainable, that is cost versus benefit. If you look at it from chapter 3 to chapter 9, all these are the main categories. And in chapter 10, we discuss about the bonus categories. Over a period of time, as we keep going during this course, you will be understanding what are these main categories and what are the bonus categories. So let's get started with chapter 1, that is introduction to green buildings. In this chapter, we'll be understanding the basics of green buildings and its importance and the various green building rating systems. We will learn more about LEED credentials, and exam pattern. Now, firstly, we'll start about what are the different characteristics of LEED buildings or green buildings. Green buildings are energy efficient, water efficient, better indoor environment, use environmental friendly and sustainable materials, and green buildings release less waste and it reduces transportation requirement, it protects and restore habitat. When you look at it, the building as a overall will have an impact, reduces the impact on all the factors just now, whatever we have discussed. This is in comparison with the conventional buildings. Hence, constructing a green building is more efficient and will have a reduced impact on the environment throughout its life cycle. Now, what is the significance of green buildings? Why do we need to construct green buildings and why not the conventional type of buildings? So, buildings directly contribute to climate change. These buildings also are the result of depletion of resources. The buildings that they generate are having an impact on ozone depletion. Buildings are polluting land, water, and air. So, the only solution in order to protect our environment, our people, the future of our next generations, the only result is developing or constructing the green buildings. Now we will look at the few statistics about carbon emissions. There was a survey done in 2018, 2019, and the carbon emissions in few countries have been taken, the statistics here, where China shows much higher in positive, that is almost closely 300 metric ton of carbon dioxide, whereas India still shows positive, whereas Germany, Japan, and United States shows negative. Coming to European Union, greenhouse gas emissions in transportation sector, it still see the drastic change that is happening from 1990 versus 2018. We can see the graph is clearly indicating that the percentage of greenhouse gas emissions is increasing at a much faster rate. Now take up this question. If there are three different sectors taken into consideration, the industries, transportation, and buildings, can you guess which of the above has the highest contribution to greenhouse gas emissions? Just can you guess? The survey says it is the buildings which plays an important role. But generally, unless we don't get in details, we are always under the impression that industries play a major role in releasing these greenhouse gas emissions. And later, it is the transportation. But ultimately, it is recognized that buildings are the ultimate and are, are the highest in contribution to greenhouse gas emissions. Now, there is a survey which is done in 2002, the emission of fossil fuels. So when you look at it, the three different sectors, these are the percentages that are analyzed over a survey. Buildings contribute to 43%, whereas transportation still at 32%, and industries, which is the least, that is 25%. The source is from PUW Center on Global Climate Change. Now, in what way green buildings are different from conventional buildings, and in what way the green buildings will contribute in the betterment of the environment and helps to support our lifestyle. So now, green buildings, in green buildings, we can reduce our energy use, or we can say the consumption of energy. It can be reduced from 24% to 50% based on what strategies we are implementing and the project that is being used. Whereas carbon dioxide emissions can be reduced from 33% to 39%, whereas water consumption can be reduced up to 40%, with all implementing different strategies. And solid waste that is generated from the buildings can be reduced up to 70%. Now, when we look at per capita carbon dioxide emissions in the Gulf and other countries, Qatar plays a major role where it takes 44%, whereas Kuwait stands at 30.2 and UAE, which stands at 22.6 per capita carbon dioxide emissions. Now, how a building can be certified as a green building? I have seen products getting certified. There are materials getting certified, but this is the first time I could hear and realize that even buildings can get certified. And green buildings are certified by various green building rating systems across the globe. And to my surprise, I realized that there are more than 600 green building rating systems across the globe being used in different countries according to their local rating systems as well as the international rating systems. Out of that, BREEAM is the first rating system that was started, and later LEED was developed from the considering the negative aspects of BREEAM. LEED was developed and which became most popular across the globe. And now we look at the facts about LEED and the impact in UAE. LEED is often linked to the international standards of ISO 14001 and ISO 45001. As of 2021, there are 1,109 LEED certifications in Dubai. Apart from commercial, there are 804 LEED certified homes with 32 free zones being LEED compliant properties. Some of the examples are one JLT building in DMCC free zone, Pacific Controls headquarters in Dubai Techno Park, and ABN AMRO Bank in Dubai outsource zone. Now, what are the different green building rating systems? If you look at it, US uh, follows LEED or Green Globes. These are the two different rating systems that are being followed in United States. Whereas coming to UK, we can see it is BREEAM, and this is the first one. Now Abu Dhabi uses Pearl rating system, whereas Taiwan it is called EEWH rating system. Australia and New Zealand it's green rating system, whereas India uses Griha or and IGBC and even Lead India. Whereas Japan follows CASBE is a different rating system that is followed in Japan. Qatar uses GASAS. It is not mandatory that only a particular rating system has to be followed in that particular country. For example, if you look at UAE follows different rating systems like Arafat locally, that is been followed by Dubai municipality and the projects within Dubai, whereas Dubai still have LEED certified buildings, more than 1,109 certifications from LEED in Dubai alone. So the same way, India uses Griha, IGBC, and LEED. So the projects, and it depends upon the project owner and the projects and the local statutory authorities which LEED rating systems can be used or can be used to develop for a particular project. So why we need to follow only LEED and why not the other rating systems? LEED is the world's leading green building project and a performance management system. And LEED is internationally recognized as one of the best green building rating system. It is adapted in different countries like Brazil, US, UAE, India, and Canada. It is very well accepted in GCC construction market, and 61% of the corporate leaders believe that sustainability leads to market differentiation and improved financial performance. And if you look at it, major international companies follow and are also the members of USGBC. As of January 15, 2020, the following are the statistics. More than 100,000 registered and certified LEED commercial projects are in existence, and 100 certified cities, which impact more than 53 million people across the globe, with 8,058 projects participating in ARC and 205,000 LEED professionals across the globe. So now you would have understood how and why LEED is more important than any other certifications. What LEED credentials you can earn? There are three different levels. In level one, we earn a LEED Green Associate. As professionals, we get LEED credentials. For buildings, we call a LEED certification. So as professionals, first level, we when we attempt the first basic level of LEED exam, that is called LEED Green Associate exam. For LEED Green Associate exam is the basis for going to the next level, that is LEED AP, LEED Accredited Professional. In LEED Accredited Professional, we have 5 different categories from which we can make a choice. Once the LEED Green Associate exam, once we pass this exam, then you are eligible for LEED AP. In LEED AP, you have LEED AP BD plus C, that is LEED AP Building Design and Construction. The second category is LEED AP Homes. The third category is LEED AP ID plus C, that is Interior Design and Construction. And fourth category is LEED AP ND, that is LEED AP Neighborhood Development. And fifth one is LEED AP O plus M, that is LEED AP Operation and Maintenance. And LEED Building BD plus C is used for new construction and other subcategories that we will be discussing in the next chapter, whereas LEED AP Homes is used for residential properties, whereas LEED AP ID plus C is used for interior fit outs, and LEED AP Neighborhood is used to certify neighborhoods and cities, where neighborhoods, and LEED AP O plus M uh, certifies the existing buildings on operations and maintenance, that is improving of uh, facility management or improvement or in uh, performance of the buildings. Upon completion of LEED AP, obtaining LEED credential of LEED AP, then when we contribute to the society and have done significant contribution to the society and to the community over a period of time with the different project involvement in different projects and all that, you will be given a LEED fellow. That is the highest degree of qualification in LEED under LEED credential. Now we will be discussing on LEED Green Associate Examination. Who can appear for LEED Green Associate Examination? In my knowledge, this is the first exam or one of the few exams that doesn't require any education qualification. And the only basic requirement is any candidate must be 18 plus years of age. And if anyone who is ready to make attempt an exam but lesser than 18 years, uh, he can appear for the exam but under this signing off by the father parents or any custodian. Now, coming to the appropriate field of which is suitable for a lead green associate, for which professions this is more suitable. When we look at it, it is for any building professionals who wish to take their career towards sustainability. And what is that? Which are the few qualifications? That is any architect, civil engineers, MEP professionals, facility managers, engineers, developers, and students in the above disciplines. Now, how much lead green associate exam will cost? It costs about 200 dirhams for members. For non-members, it is $250. And full-time employees of USGBC member companies are considered as members of USGBC, and where it applies only $200 for the for USGBC member companies. For the staff of USGBC member companies, how to apply for exam, where and how will I take this exam? There are two ways of writing this exam. First, we apply exam through usgbc.org, and once you do the payment, and you will be given a code where you can use that and register for the examination. In this process of writing an examination, the two options are there. One is we can go to the Prometric Testing Center that is located in few locations in UAE. One is located in Knowledge Village in Dubai, and the other one in Abu Dhabi. There are two different centers in UAE. And in from last year, that is 2020, the second option that is available is to write an exam on remote proctored online exam. That is, you can sit at your home and write this exam at your convenience. But there is a procedure to follow that, and there is a guidance booklet that can be shared based on the requirement. And once you go through that, if you follow the instructions, once you register the exam, and you can write your exam sitting at your home. Now, coming to the exam pattern, there are two different patterns that are available in writing this exam. One, that is attempting a lead green associate exam in the first attempt. It is a computer-based test with 100 multiple choice questions and multiple response questions, which means few of the questions you have only one correct answer, and few of the questions you will have multiple correct answers. And there will be a hint given in the question: choose two or choose three correct answers. And the total duration of the exam is about 2 hours 20 minutes, where in this 2 hours is the exam time, and 10 minutes before the exam for the interface and to understand the exam, and after completion of the exam, another 10 minutes for the exit survey. Once you complete your exam, there immediately on the computer screen you will see the result. Is it either pass or fail? And once you exit the exam hall, you will be given an exam result paper showing the score, and uh, telling whether you have passed the exam or failed the exam, indicating that either you have passed the exam or failed the exam. And the passing score is 170 out of 200. This doesn't mean that 85%. The evaluation is purely based on the relative performance against the baseline performance. There is no negative marking, but the result shall be sent to you by mail within 2 days from GBCI. Now, the second way of attempting an exam, once you finish your GA course and then you complete your AP course, and when you're ready to write both the exams together, that is a combined pattern of writing the exam, it takes about 4 hours 20 minutes. The total exam is about 4 hours 20 minutes, which means 10 minutes before the exam for interface and 10 minutes after the exam for exit survey, and the exam duration is for 4 hours. This examination, 4 hours, you have two parts, that is part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is about green associate and part 2 is about lead AP specialty examination. And here the fees is about $400 for members and $550 for non-members. And again, as we need to apply again on usgbc.org and follow the same process. It is a computer based test, and even if you fail in one of the parts, part 1 or part 2, still, which means you're not you don't qualify for any of the credentials. In case, consider that you have passed lead AP but you have failed lead GA, which means still you have failed the exam and you need to start from the beginning. So my only suggestion is just complete your lead green associate examination, pass through, and then start preparing for lead AP or attempt a lead AP examination. When you take in two different parts, we are safely ensuring that we pass the exam much easier and faster. Now, these are the question patterns. We can see there are three different columns: lead GA, lead BD plus A, and lead AP O plus M. In lead process, for lead GA examination, you'll be getting 16 questions. Integrative process, you'll be getting 8 questions. And location and transportation, 7 questions. Sustainability side, 7 questions. Water efficiency, 9 questions. Energy and atmosphere, 10 questions. Materials and resources, 9 questions. Indoor environmental quality, 8 questions. Project surroundings and public outreach, 11 questions. And unscored questions will be 15 questions. On an overall, this is the approximate percentage of questions that you will be attempting during the examination point of view. And we'll be covering all these topics during the course. Now, in this chapter, you have seen what is green building, what is the significance of green buildings, what are the different green building rating systems, what is LEED, why is it important, and what are the various LEED credentials. Now, this is the end of chapter, and now we'll be going to the next chapter, that is Introduction to USGBC, GBCI, and LEED rating system.